This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, sir. Hi, everyone. We will now have a look at the list of subjects to be learned if you want to become a data scientist. Many IT employees now wish to learn data science and enter into the field of data science. Now, in such a case, what should they do? They should learn 5 subjects, let me say. The first one is Python, especially the packages in Python: NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, PyTorch, scikit-learn, SciPy. These are some of the packages that they have to learn very well. All the functions available in the packages and when each one of them should be used. Now all these things shall be put together and under one name known as statistics, right? And descriptive statistics, you would have definitely learned about mean, median, mode, variance, correlation, regression, and all, and a little bit of probability and statistical modeling. You would have heard about regression modeling, classification modeling, and then the clustering modeling. These are all the important statistical models. And then, of course, you would have heard somewhere about the testing of hypothesis, right? So all these things put together shall be put together under one heading known as statistics. So this is the first thing that you have to learn. Second thing that you have to learn. Third thing, machine learning. Fourth one, fifth one, sixth one. So I will take just 2 to 3 minutes to throw light on each one of these topics. Now have a look at this data. When a person has 3 years of experience, he will be paid at the rate of, let me say, when a person possesses 3 years of experience, he will be paid salary at the rate of 6 lakh per year. 5 years experience will fetch 10 lakh per year salary. 7 years will fetch 14 lakhs per year as salary. Now you can very well guess the relationship between these two. Now in the field of data science, in the field of machine learning, deep learning and all, ultimately you have to find out the functional relationship. Finding out the functional relationship is the most important concept to be remembered. Now here, suppose I write x here, suppose I write y here. So all these values become values of x, all these values become value of y. You take any value of x, multiply it by 2, you get y. So can I say like this? 2 times x is equal to y. That is what I am writing here. Y is equal to 2x. I told you these are all values of x. Take this value, multiply it by 2, you get 10. Corresponding value of y. That's what I mean. Now, this is a little bit general form. You put c is equal to 0, this term will go off. Put m is equal to 2, you will get this one. This is the easiest relationship in the whole world. This is known as linear relationship. Now you have only the term x. If you include one x square term, it will become quadratic equation, and then you can think of third degree polynomial, fourth degree polynomial and all. What do I want to say? In this field, right, finding the functional relationship is very important here. This 2 is known as the coefficient of x. It is also known as parameter. Here we have only one parameter. Here in the general form we have 2 parameters, m and c. Now in the case of a quadratic equation, you will have 3 parameters, right? So if the relationship is really, if the data are a little bit complex, right, you cannot guess the relationship. In such a case, what you should do, you use some manual calculation, right? All these values, work out all the products, add all the sum, substitute, solve this simultaneous equation, and then you get the answer, right? Now I am producing the same data in the case, but when you have some complex data, this procedure will be helpful. Now what do I say? Sometimes you can guess the relationship, sometimes you can manually work out. But what happens when you have to deal with many variables? Age is one variable, weight is on second variable, third variable, fourth variable, and so on and so on. See, blood sugar level in a person is decided by all these variables, you right? Suppose now this age is represented as a variable x1, weight is represented as x2, height x3, let us say, blood pressure x4 and x10. So how many variables we talk about here? X1, x2, x10. So when you have to talk about, when you have to find the relationship between only two variables, right, x and y, or three variables, x1, x2, x3, right? You can use some manual method to solve the problem. What do I mean by solving the problem? Finding the values of the parameters. Finding the values of the parameters. Here, the values of the parameters are m and c. You can find the value of c as 0, m is equal to 2. This you can do, right, using a manual calculation. But when you have to deal with 10 variables, here also we talk about the functional relationship. I told throughout the field of data science, whether it is simple data science or machine learning or deep learning, you are always concerned with finding the functional relationship. In other words, finding the values of this coefficient. These coefficients are also known as parameters. But what do I want to say? When you have to deal with as many as 10 variables, manual calculations become, right, really very difficult. In such a case, you use some algorithm, right, that is provided by a paper subject known as machine learning, right? Now sometimes what happens, right, you have to deal with 200 variables, 300 variables. What do I want to say? When you have to deal with only two variables or three variables or four variables, manual calculation will be enough, right? But when you have to deal with 10 variables, 12 variables, you need the knowledge of machine learning. When you have to deal with 200 variables, 400 variables, 800 variables, you need the knowledge of deep learning. So now I am talking about the learning path, what all one should learn to become a data scientist. First one, you should learn, right, statistics, and then machine learning, and then deep learning. Consider this image. There are 30 pixels, let us say, right? When you consider the horizontal axis, and you have another 30 pixels when you consider, right, vertical axis. So 30 multiplied by 30, 900 pixels. You take a pencil and put a dot. That's what a pixel is. It is decided by RGB, red, green, blue. So when you have to consider 30 by 30, 900 pixels, these 900 pixels are known as 900 variables or 900 dimensions. In such a case, you have to use a subject known as deep learning. So please commit it to your mind, right? When you have to deal with two or three or four variables, right, you can use statistical procedure. When you have to deal with 10 or 12 or 14 variables, you can use an algorithm available in machine learning. When you have to deal with 400 variables, 800 variables, 900 variables, you have to learn, you should know deep learning. That is why in any data science course, we first teach statistics, and then machine learning, and then deep learning. That's all. Is that all? Now you have to pick up just three more skills. What are they? Computer vision. See here, this face, she doesn't wear a mask. Nowadays everyone is worried about corona. How do you know whether a person wears a mask or does not wear a mask? Now let us apply a very simple fact. When she doesn't wear a mask, mouth will be visible, lower part of the right nose will be visible. Suppose you take a collection of 10,000 images of faces without mask, and you take another collection of 10,000 images, 10,000 images of faces with mask. You feed these two collections to a deep learning algorithm. Yeah, see, I mean computer vision algorithm. Actually, computer vision is a particular division of deep learning, right? And then the deep learning algorithm, or you can call it as computer vision algorithm, will learn, okay, this is how the face look like, when there is no mask. That is how the face will look like when there is a mask, because when there is a mask, the mouth will not be visible, lower portion of the nose will be visible. Now what's the advantage? Once the machine learns, okay, this is how the face without mask look like, that is how the face with mask look like, and then when you feed the right CCTV footage, it will find out, it will take an image of a person, will find out whether she does not wear a mask or wears a mask. Accordingly, it can even be made to rise a siren when a face doesn't have a mask. And then there is one skill you have to pick up, right? Computer vision. Another one, you should learn natural language processing. You would have heard about chatbots, Google Now, Siri, and Cortana. Now all these chatbots can be similar. Chatbots can be created by, if you learn natural language processing. There is a great demand to do so. Every bank has a chatbot. Every service provider has a chatbot. You would have heard about autonomous cars. Say that people want to automate every industry. Even for this purpose, you have to learn reinforcement learning. So let me list once again that, right? Let me list once again all the things that you have learned, all the papers that you have learned, right? All the papers that you have learned. What are the papers that you have to learn if you want to become a data scientist? Suppose you are an IT specialist, you are right now working in IT industry. Probably you have to take, right, 3 courses, one on Python, another one on statistics, another one on these topics. Machine learning, right, is needed when you have to deal with 10 or 12 or 14 variables. Deep learning, when you have to deal with 200 variables ,400 variables, 800 variables. This one you need the knowledge if you want to do, if you want to automate knowledge of this one, computer. Once you cover these 3 courses, you can definitely enter the field of data science as a data scientist, and you can really shine very well. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.